Well, that was my first ever League of Legends event that I hosted that is now officially in the books. We are back to LCS kickoff week, which thank God I can go back to just focusing on other people's things rather than having to fully organize my own, because I'm excited for the LCS to be here. That's what all this was building up to. But we got to talk about the North American tag team, the good, the bad, and the ugly from the event, because it's important to address what went well, what didn't, and make any adjustments for next year, even if obviously it's a long ways away. Before we get into that, I do want to note we are having a watch party for LCS Lock-In opening day here in New York City at OSNYC. We'll also be having another one for Lock-In Finals on March 1st. So one per month, basically. February is a short month. I'll count it. If you're in the New York City area, come on out. It is free. No ticket, no registration required. Just come out, have a good time, bring your friends, watch, grab a drink if you can. It's a blast. Just want to make sure I'm promoting these events so people can't say that they didn't know that they were happening. But over to the North American Tag Team event, the final leaderboard as you are seeing it here. Yes, Yawn and Core JJ pulling away with it at the very end. We were watching Saturday night as Captain Flowers was spectating games the entire time, and it looked like Quid and Jose Dioto might be able to catch them for a bit. There was a win streak that happened, but then 2 straight losses with about 2 hours left pretty much took them out of it. So it was locked and done by the time that the last hour came. So it was more just a celebration of the event at the very end. Towards the bottom, the Shopify coaching staff did win the battle of the coaches. The Unction, most importantly, did not finish last. Apollo hard carried Thinkar, but it wasn't enough to be able to help them overcome it. But overall, the leaderboard played out as many of us kind of expected that it would. A lot of that was also dependent on who got to play more. So let's get into this. The good, the bad, and the ugly. First, the good. Player participation. We had a lot of pros playing this relative to the people that were here. Because again, visa issues very much are a struggle early on. Call Me was supposed to play for DSG. He didn't get in time. Actually, I still don't even know if he's in the United States right now. Like, this is an issue that we have known plagues the US, or most importantly, like the LCS in general, for a long period of time. So we were never going to get a full squad of like all 40 players in the league. Like, I knew that wasn't going to happen, and you couldn't necessarily invite streamers because they could play way too much. Regardless, the people that did participate seemed to have fun with it. Everybody that I talked to that was playing in it seemingly enjoy themselves. Griffin had high praise. XU was on an interview with Cloud Sicky, mentioned that he loved it as well. Anero reached out to me, said that it was fun. Demonte, same thing. So like, it seems like all the players that were in it had a good time while doing it. And that is a key part of this. You want to make sure that everybody's having a good time. If everybody's miserable, then it's a problem. The community support was also great. Salazar put out some of the stats behind the website that he designed for this event, which, by the way, quick shout out to everybody from the community that helped support this. Obviously, from like our side and like the official side, Salazar for doing the website, Vivian did graphics, Captain Flowers casted a bunch of games. Like, it really was a community push to try and help put some content out there leading up to LCS kickoff week. And I feel like we successfully did that from the community side. And people seem to be very positive overall to the reception of this event, to the people that were streaming and put in the hours there. So thank you all for tuning in and watching. And the other third good that I have to mention is the solo queue benefits, which I don't know if like this event can necessarily claim credit for. Most pros are playing solo queue at the beginning of the year, but I know in prior times they've tried to do that Champions Queue BS where you separate out the pros into their own top thing. It's like, no, that was never going to be an answer. I'm sorry. I always thought that was doomed to fail. But something that we could always do is like push people to play more solo queue. And it seems like this event did that, at least for those that were here. So I would deem that to be a success. So like those were my 3 big good ones: player participation, community support, solo queue benefit, like all those fantastic outcomes for this. But we've all kind of known those. So I do need to address the bad and some of the tournament operations side of this. And like the bad legitimately is the amount of hours that were streamed outside of Griffin and Cloud9. Now, there were some players that put in some hours to streaming, which was fantastic. But the most egregious example of this probably would be, and the credit to them for winning this, but Yon Core JJ, Quid Jose Dioto. All right. The 2 TL teams put in the most amount of games by far and streamed the least of it, other than the people that just simply didn't stream at all. And the whole intent of this event was not only to like raise awareness for the LCS kicking off. Obviously, like we're trying to get our pros names out there. It's to try and get people to do content and like try and push it a little bit further, because that's ultimately what we need to do to be able to market ourselves. And I'll be honest with you, I was not personally happy at the end of the day with how many streaming hours were put into this, barring from, again, the few people that I listed that were. Let me interject the bad real quick and just put an amazing section here. Griffin is going to be a star in this league, assuming he like plays at like even a decent level in the LCS. His personality, everything about this, like I love this guy. I've come to know more about him over the last 2 weeks than I have any other pro in this league over the last 2 years, which is due to content. And that's amazing. And also massive shout out to C9. The organization as a whole, from the coaching staff to the players, they were streaming the entire time. People were giving them shit because Sven and Vulcan didn't live up to the hype that some people thought they would. And Blabber and APA, as I call them, Blappa, they might not have been contending for that 1-2 spot, but all of them were streaming consistently. And it provided, like, some of the few clips that I got here were from them. And it was great. So, that was the best part. I think C9 fans and FlyQuest fans have the most reason to be excited going into this year from a content point of view. Like, y'all are just blessed with some great people within your orgs. It is a worrying sign for me, personally, that we don't quite understand the importance of streaming and how much should have been done in coordination and tandem with this event, but simply wasn't. Trust me, I got feedback all over the place that you all might not have seen, but I can promise you I was seeing the comments of like, hey, like great concept in theory, like event, like I love what it's supposed to be doing, but did it accomplish the goal that it set out to? Not necessarily. And I agree. Here's the complication with this, okay? The ideal solution for this problem would be you put in a streaming mandate for the events, okay? Which is fine, but I'm not the one providing the prize for money. The structure of this entirely was that I got players to put, well, their team managers, but by proxy the teams, put in their own money to play in this event. Therefore, I'm kind of beholden on doing the things that like they are willing to do to a certain extent. Like this is a baby step in the right direction, sure. But the problem with this is I understand that people are probably not going to watch this next year, other than the diehards who are just willing to watch anything like myself. People will tune out next year because they know that other than C9 and a few others, it won't be streamed all that much, which kind of goes, again, against the intent of the event. So the only solution that I can come up with for this is I would have to secure outside funding for the prize pool for this. It can't come from the players. It can't come from the teams because then again, they get the majority say in this. And if I want to see content and I want this tournament or then a tag team to be what it's supposed to be, I would require people to stream at minimum over the course of the event. Say it's like 7 or 8 days. You have to stream 25 hours. Okay? You put in a minimum hour requirement. Put all your VODs public so I can see the hours and I'll track them. If you don't hit that, even if you come in first, your prize pool goes to the most streamed player. I think like that's it. Like you forfeit any money that you would have won if that's the case. I know you can't do anything about like those that like lose early and are a little bit behind and they don't hit that requirement. Like there's only so much. I can't fine people. Jesus Christ. Like again, there's a balance to be had here, which is just very difficult to strike whenever I'm not the one putting up the money and I'm not the one that's able to secure the sponsorships, because the reality is in terms of consistent content for this, like sure, I could donate the money that I made this year from YouTube on it. That would be a whopping $15. So yeah, it's not like I'm making enough to fund anything here. So next year, honestly, like the thing that I was thinking of is like, it's going to be hard for me to reach out to a sponsor and show them the numbers that I got on this and be like, hey, give us $2,000. Or I can make a plea to the LCS and be like, hey, you know, what if this is part of your marketing budget for the year? Since y'all don't want to do content like leading up or like the whole month prior to that, like why don't you let me help you out? Like why don't we get a chunk of the budget there? Or if I do have a team that's willing to put up $2,000 of our own, but then we set the stipulations, then fine. But like I need whoever's going to give the money to like want to enforce that the same way that I do. So let's address the ugly then, because there is one really like I'm shocked that this never happened, and that is, as much as you want to talk about the players not streaming and obviously not giving any content there, the team supplemental stuff really bugged the shit out of me. When you have players from your org playing in this event and there's not even stream highlights. Obviously, there weren't as many streams, but like you have no content, barring like quote retweets of the event and stuff on Twitter. But like that doesn't really mean like YouTube content, shorts content, beyond. Like you gotta put something out here. We are giving you free content, the leaderboard, talking about the standings, like anything that you can possibly do to engage and help grow your brand and raise awareness for fans who are going to try to be watching a match of yours in less than 7 days. All right. That's free promotion. And I don't feel like the majority of orgs got it. Now, you can sit here and say, oh, well, it's the players playing it. It's their responsibility. The orgs tied themselves to this. Like, a lot of the players branded themselves after the orgs. So put it on your channels. Like, find a way to make content. Like, it's not my responsibility to sit here and tell you what's going to make good content for your channel, but you got to put out something for your fans. And nobody did. It's frustrating. It's really frustrating when, like, I'm happy about the benefits of this, but when the entire intent of this was to get people to understand that content is important and really try and push that side of things, in addition to raising awareness for the LCS, and I don't feel like people pushed it to the extent that they did. I see the amount of hours that I personally put into this, like the amount of marketing that went into like putting the teams out there and trying to hype them up. And then you see the other side of it of like, okay, I got the ball rolling. Let's, push this further. And it doesn't feel like that fully happened. That's where I get a little bit annoyed. But again, overall, fantastic time for those that did participate, for those that watched. I just know what this can be. And it's frustrating to see where it ended up, even if obviously there was a lot of happiness around this. But I see the replies that many of you might not see, and I can see the underlying frustration that will make this a problem for next year if solutions and fixes aren't put into place. But for the first time ever doing this, I'm happy with the steps that it took. Progress is not like 0 to 100. It's baby steps all the way. And this was a good first step to kind of get us in a spot where next year, as long as we improve on it, we're fine. But that's the North America, issue that's plagued us for the last 10 years is we do something positive and step in the right direction. Now you have to keep pushing that and keep continuing it. So we got a lot of time. It's not like we have to worry about it. This is not going to be like an off-season event. Obviously, teams will be boot camping in Korea, and then once we get to the off-season, it just is what the North American tag team will be a beginning of the year event next year as well, but it will not be something that happens throughout the year because now we get to focus on the LCS and the games that matter and the tournaments and just so much. Like the official calendar year kicks off for us in just 5 days. What can you expect from me for the rest of this week? Keep an eye out on Twitter. Tomorrow morning, I'm going to put out a tweet asking for your takes for I don't want to overreact, but to kick off the LCS split. Video submissions will get priority. If I don't have enough of those, I will take some text takes, but I want you to explain your position and make an argument. That'll be Wednesday. Friday, the return of the pit. If you haven't done so, be sure to drop a like on this video, subscribe to the channel. You'll get LCS content all year long. And again, a massive thank you to everybody that helped out with the North American tag team. Congratulations to Jan and Core JJ for taking home the title. And let's do this again next year, shall we? Let's improve on it. Let's do it again.